Oh, welcome to another Grit and Grime basketball podcast, episode 101. It's not going in the room. No, this one's going in the hall. It's a big reason for that. But first, introductions. I'm your host, as always, David Sago. I'm here with Michael Downey
All right.
and Thomas Arnold.
Good afternoon.
And it's not the afternoon. Stop. Don't throw
Whatever.
my whole game off. You playing games over there. The games are over, Tom. It's over.
I'm trolling.
The job's finished. Um, we're here to talk about the NBA Finals and how they ended, and what a wonderful day it's been ever since. Every day has been wonderful.
Nothing else has been going wrong at all.
If you don't know, the Los Angeles Lakers triumphed over the Miami Heat in Game 6. The final score was 106-93, but the reality is that game was not that close until the final whistle. And I first wanted to start by saying how amazing the Heat were. The effort that they put in, the commitment, the competitiveness. I said on the last podcast that I did kind of hope for a Lakers Heat final because I thought it was an easier matchup for the Lakers. I did start to think, I wonder if we've bitten off more than we can chew when it actually started, because, you know, when you're in there with a lion like the Heat are, you're like, maybe I'd prefer something else, like a bear or something. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys have to say about the Heat and their effort, their contributions in the final?
I mean, like the whole way along, they battled and they proved a lot of people wrong. Anybody that was sort of doubting if they could actually give the Lakers a decent run, they were proven wrong. Jimmy Butler specifically, like
Monster.
he's shut up a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have said that he was toxic and that he can run a good team and that he's not a superstar. He's a what, a 2B guy or something like that.
Wow.
So congrats to them because
They were brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be back. They'll be back. The next season's going to be a lot harder to go back to the finals, but I don't know. At least they've sort of created that team spirit you need to, achieve something good in sports. So yeah, it was nice to watch. It's nice to watch something different, to witness a different type of game, because it wasn't all threes like the Rockets, and it was a different style of play, I guess. And I think going back to Butler, it's interesting how you're viewed in different situations. In one locker room, you might be seen as a disruptive player.
Mm-hmm.
Put in the right condition, the right setup, you're a leader. It's like it's all depending on who is around you, and it always kinds of made me think of those kids with ADHD, and you're like, oh, he's too much. But then if you put him in the right setup, then he'll be a freaking genius. That happens a lot. I've seen it, and so that kind of. And there's a bunch of young kids also that are coming up on the Heat teams. Bam is only 23, I think he is.
Yeah.
Tyler
In
Hero,
the start,
and Duncan Robinson as well. They're all very impressive. Kind of sort of came out of nowhere. And then also Dragic. I feel sorry for Dragic that he's not been able to get. Well, he had a bunch of minutes in Game 6, but it was just because he had to take part in the game, but he shouldn't have been playing anyway. But it feels sad for him. I did have him as my MVP, finals MVP before the injury.
He was close.
So yeah, that was So it feels sorry for him, but I'm glad he got a bunch of minutes. But I wish we would have seen them with the entire roster healthy. But that's how it is. That's how it is.
Yeah,
I think. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
You bring up Dragic in his post-game presser. One of the first questions he was asked was, how is the pain, Goran? And he said, which one?
Yeah.
Because there's obviously the pain of playing on his foot for the number of minutes that he did, coming back way too soon. He knew that he shouldn't have been out there. And then also the pain of losing. And I think that was something that hit me. As soon as I clicked on the presser, I was met with Eric Spoelstra. No introductions, no nothing. It was like I had started a few seconds into the press conference, and he was so distraught. And anyone that's like seen him in press conferences or heard him speak to the media before, he has all of these like catchphrases and things that he uses. He speaks like he's like overly media trained, and that can seem robotic at times. And he was in there, and the emotion was palpable. Like you could feel the tension of his like raw feelings, raw emotions, raw sadness, and like seemingly seconds into it, he's holding back tears, and it just immediately hit me that they really didn't think they were going to lose.
Yeah.
At any point.
Yeah.
At no point did they think they were going to lose.
Yeah.
They were completely shell-shocked by it. And that is a testament to their competitiveness. Because they really thought a few of their players spoke about, you know, what was going to happen in game 7 and they had no sense that they were going to lose. And that is huge to have that kind of confidence. It shows you how they got this far as underdogs throughout, because in their heads they weren't underdogs. When Jimmy went to the Heat, he said he was there to win a championship. He was interviewed a few years back once he became an all-star and started on this trajectory, and he was saying that he was going to be the best player in the world. And I was like, yeah, okay, like it's good to have confidence in yourself, you know, blah 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 blah. But then you see the 40-point triple-double, you see the 47.5 minutes, and it's like I think this is the first time since LeBron lost to Dallas, I think, that he hasn't led all finalists in points, rebounds, and assists or something like that, because Jimmy beat him in assists this time. And
you mean over like, the whole series?
Yeah, led both teams in the finals.
Yeah.
In the major stats, and it's because Jimmy came out and beat him in assists. And it's like, whoa, like for him to be the only one looking at everyone that LeBron has played against in these final series, that is a remarkable achievement, and it's really put him on the map.
And
as
the
far
thing
as
is that
name.
He did it playing a team game as well. It's not like he was out there playing Jimmy ball. Like he had to do that on a few possessions and things like that. But it was quite clear that they were a team, and it was everybody eats sort of a situation, you know. So it's an incredible achievement, and it, as you said, I'm congratulating them for getting to the final, but that's not what they were there for. They were there for the championship or nothing, and it's great to see that. Basically.
Yeah. There was no way they were rolling over, and they didn't. They put the Lakers through it, man. Oh man, we went through it. Stayed up Friday evening. Stayed up. I was like, "Yep, this is it. Mamba jerseys on deck. It's going down. It's going down." Was so ready. Spoke to a few different people that were staying up as well. Like, and then man, hell of a game. Intense game. Not close in the beginning. And then the Lakers managed to claw it back. LeBron just nailing threes from everywhere to keep the Lakers in it. And then the Lakers finally catch up and take the lead in the fourth quarter, and you hope that's it. And that was the most demonstrative I got as a Laker fan watching the game. I think KCP hit a shot and someone got fouled, and I was like proper in my kitchen, like, oh yes, get it, get some. This is it, yeah, championship, baby. That's how we do it. It's Laker basketball, yeah. And then it gets tense. You know, we get down to the final minutes. It's back and forth. I think there's like 7 lead changes in the last minute or so. And Jimmy Butler getting to the line, LeBron getting to the line and hitting shots. And then, man, comes down 16 seconds. Lakers call a timeout. A timeout they didn't have to call because Jimmy Butler's, in fact, Miami had called a timeout before that. And Jimmy Butler ended up at the line shooting free throws. So anything that needed to be said could have been said in that timeout. They would have known, right? But the Lakers call a timeout, so they have no timeouts left. Go up the other end. LeBron, ISO at the top, everyone else on the baseline, which I also think was a mistake. I think if he was going to go to the rim, you don't have everyone on the baseline. You have them in some kind of higher action or on the wing with some off-ball action. Screen comes up. Now it's a pick and roll play. Danny Green screens because he's being guarded by Duncan Robinson. Makes perfect sense. Get the mismatch, exploit the mismatch. Screen comes up. LeBron starts going towards the screen for once because every other time they tried to screen for him, he would stand still. He does the right thing. He moves towards the screen. Decent screen from Danny Green. He flares out to the or pops out rather to the top of the key 3-point line. LeBron goes boom, full head of steam at the rim. He's surrounded by 4 players. He takes off. He's still looking at the rim until the very last minute when he flips it back to Danny Green. Shot goes up. You guys know. Brick bounces out. Markieff Morris gets the freaking rebound. There's 5 seconds on the clock. We've got the offensive board. You look around, you survey the floor. KCP, open. Duncan Robinson's maybe 4 or 5 meters off him. He could get the shot off. Danny Green, right by Markieff Morris. If Markieff Morris doesn't hold the ball or pick up the ball, Danny Green would have caught it.
Yeah.
Behind him on the wing, LeBron James, wide open. Under the rim, with Bam on his back. You already know. AD. What does he do? Does he shoot it? Nah. Does he pass it to KCP? Our best 3-point shooter? Nah. Does he shovel it back to Danny Green for a second chance? He can't miss 2 in a row. Nah. Does he pivot out and hit LeBron, who's behind him, wide open? Nah. He throws a lob to no one, and the ball goes out of bounds. And my jaw just went.
Same here. Same reaction.
Because we were supposed to win the championship.
Sure.
Mamba jerseys
with the shot clock off. They were wearing the Mamba jerseys. The shot clock was off. And then after we missed, we got the rebound, right? Put back action. Pass, shot, something. Out of bounds? I was sick.
Bad pass as well.
I was sick. And to be honest, I don't think I got over it. So even when we won the championship, even game 6, when it was a blowout in the first half, and I'm not going to labor it, it was pretty clear that the Heat were exhausted by game 5. And they'd given their best shot. It still just didn't feel the same.
Come on.
Feel the same, man.
Seriously, this guy.
I was happy and I am happy. But I think if we'd won on Friday night, I would have been completely in a completely different stratosphere of happiness and excitement. I was still hurt.
Wow.
So I'm going to hang up
Dave,
now. I'm going to hang up. Do you want us to feel sad, Dave?
What can I say,
man? Do you not know who you're talking to? You're talking to
I'm
a
just
Knicks
being
fan and a
honest.
Sixers fan. Do you not understand?
You remember 72 though, right? 71?
Oh, yeah.
71.
Yeah,
70,
10 years
71.
before I was born. Yeah, I remember.
Walt Fraser and them guys.
Yeah.
That feeling.
That season. I had a season ticket to the Garden. Yeah. I was there. I mean, I feel so sorry for you, Dave. You had to go through this, and that your joy
many years
is
of
not.
hurt.
But I get what you mean. Like it was the fairy tale moment. It was like
Yeah.
it was all lined up to be that, and then
Right.
Yeah,
When
it takes a little bit something like away from it when you're up 30 at halftime. It kind of like it's like, oh, okay, this is just happening now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, no, I think to me what was it, because again, not being a Lakers fan, I can't really relate to your joy being spoiled like that. But I think
I'm spoiled, period.
I think what really pissed me off the most was the reactions around like we talked about it, the social media reaction around Danny Green and how he got death threats and all that sort of bullshit.
Ridiculous.
And then watching the play, you're like, if there's one player you can't, of course he should have made the three, fine, you know, he was wide open, we said it, but it's like, out of everyone involved on that last play, this one guy, it's Danny Green. I mean, yeah, sure, he's again should have made it, but it's not his fault. The pass, the idea of the pass was good, but he landed in his feet, so trying to catch and shoot that, and then the rebound was a bit, you know, he had options, like Morris should have shot the ball or
At the
pass
very
it to
least.
anyone else but Davis. You know, so yeah, I don't know. This again, social media reaction was very off to me.
Yeah, I saw a lot of it,
stupid.
and it wasn't nice at all. Those people need to look at themselves and think about what words they're really typing to people, because these are real people. It's real people typing, and it's real people on the end of it.
Imagine going to your job, you mess something up, and then you get death threat because you didn't send an email to Bob.
Yeah.
And there's somebody that is in finance like, fucking hell, Tom, you fucking die. You should die.
You and your family.
I know where your kids are going. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
But it's worse than that, because you want him to take that shot. It was the correct shot to take.
Yeah.
He missed the shot.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And the thing, he took it with enough time on there. He took it quickly enough that they would have a second chance if they did miss, which they would have. So it's real stupid.
It's plain simple. It's real stupid.
But hey, there are a lot of stupid.
But his answer was amazing though. I love what he said in the press conference before the game. It was like something along the line of, I hope people are as passionate in terms of social justice and voting as they are about basketball, and you know, if you're able to send death threat for something that is that,
imagine what would happen if you put that energy into positive
exactly.
When you still won the chip.
exactly. I'm seeing all of these trade Kuzma, trade Morris, trade Danny Green topics on Reddit and stuff, and it's just like, you know, there's a game 6, right, and a game 7 if needed. Like, how about we wait until it's finished and then you can say who you want traded? So ridiculous. It's just silly knee-jerk reactions, man. Should have had a dinner bet with all of them. Eat for years. I
haven't paid for a meal in 20 years.
So what I wanted to do was just go up the roster and just point out some of the stories and some of the just some of the stories, because some of these players have really been through a lot in their NBA careers. And I just want to highlight some of the characters that are on this team, because this was a team that was largely doubted and even more hated throughout the season. So starting just from the bottom of the box score, we have the one and only Dion Waiters. How can we start anywhere else? Dion Waiters has a ring, Tom.
Well, he was guaranteed to have to get a ring. He was guaranteed.
Played for both teams, you see? And people don't talk about that level of leadership. For him to be on both the teams that make the finals, come on, that's not an accident.
Here's a tip: get on every single team in the NBA during the same season. Can you get traded 20-something times in one season?
Look, we've now tried it.
Get on the team, insult the coach, get traded, move on to the next one.
So Dion Waiters, I mean, the last time we really spoke about him was in our Nathan Caton episode, when we were asking the question of who gave him the edibles that had him tripping out on the team plane in Miami earlier in the season. And who would have known that just months later he'd be chilling with Larry O.B.
Mm.
That's his favorite boy now. Now he has as many rings as Kyrie, so we can end that debate.
It's gonna be one of
It's
those.
true.
Yes,
It's true. Hey.
I mean, if you look at it that way, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's undeniable fact.
One
I
what's
wonder
good
as
what-
Kyrie.
Same
wonder
number of
what
rings
he's
as
thinking,
Kevin
though.
Garnett.
Is he still out there thinking, I should be out there playing every single minute of these finals games?
I think that's his mindset. I think he's probably thinking I should have been on that starting five.
And there were times when the fans were like, "Oh, Caruso can't do this, or X player can't do that. Why isn't Dion Waiters playing? Because J.R. Smith got more time in the playoffs than Dion did."
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, there
yeah,
you
go on. I don't know,
Alright.
man. He's one of those oddities as a player. Like he what was he drafted? Fourth in the draft, something like that.
He was quite high, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. See what you did there. So the it's one of those guys that should have been better throughout his career, and I think is the aura around him or this reputation is preceding him wherever he goes now. So yeah.
And now that's a championship aura. So, nothing but fruits in his future.
Sure.
Next up, we have Taylor Horton Tucker, who was one of the Lakers' two-way players. He got some play in the Rocket series. He's a scorer, really long arms. Like you can see, one of those players that when they're on the court, you can just tell like their limbs are just everywhere.
A basketball player.
Yeah, but he's a rookie, and this is his first taste of the NBA.
Not
So
too bad.
not really an eventful season or anything when he got
This
in.
is just how it goes. This is how every season goes.
Yeah. You go to China. China hates you.
Yeah.
Devontae Kaycock, again, two-way player. Costas and Antetokounmpo.
Oof.
First Antetokounmpo brother with that NBA jewelry, baby.
Can you imagine
the NBA jewelry?
the family reunion when he's gonna rock up into the living room? Janice is there sitting.
Yeah. But Janice is sitting with an MVP under each arm.
Yeah.
Like he's on a throne or something. And he's just there like,
Yeah, but then the brother's gonna come in like, kiss my ring, brother.
Costas rolls up. He's like, "Hey, I ain't knighted you. I ain't giving you no land. I'm the only champion. I'm the only king in these streets. King Costas."
Thanasis is just sitting in the corner. Can I touch it, guys?
It looks good.
No.
And they're really close as well, so I know he's gonna let them know.
Oh yeah.
Next up, the man, the myth, the legend. I might take off my shirt right now. J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith, baby. Two-time. Call him two-time. J.R. two-time.
Not allowed anywhere near the court in the last moments of that game.
He might have been. Do you know what? Maybe he wasn't out there. He wasn't. Even though it was garbage time, he was not out there. So yeah, you're right, man.
He was already topless on the on the side, like 10 minutes to go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That jersey had to go somewhere.
On,
yeah,
ready to go.
But then wasn't he the one who lifted the trophy at the end, like the first player to lift it?
Talk about it, Tom. I don't know what happened with that. What I thought was nice was that normally
Jenny
it's
Buss,
given to the owner, but obviously they didn't want to be that close. So Jeannie Buss had come out to give the first speech, the first interview, but she didn't even go and touch it.
No,
all right.
Which I thought was really nice, because I always find it weird that the owner is the first one to lift the trophy.
She's the first woman owner, I think, of who's won the league, the NBA finals. So it's quite special.
Right?
I did love the fact that she didn't go for it, that she didn't go and try and get it. Because it always bothered me when owners, like, if you give it to the coach, if you want somebody in a suit give it to the coach. If that's fine. But like the owners, yeah, okay, they put the money in into the team and all that stuff. That's fine.
And they do
It's
a
just
lot, and
weird.
she does a lot.
But like in any other sports, do you see like, when you win the Champions League, do you see the freaking owners on the corner? Hey,
No.
like, who are you? Get off!
No.
Sure, Abramovich got down there at some point.
Oh, for sure.
I'm sure after it, yeah. Sure. If you're in the background, I don't mind you being in the background. That's cool. But like being the first one to get it,
yeah.
a bit weird. It's like,
It's
okay,
weird.
I had my go. Here you go, LeBron.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of your little trophy, Bron. Yeah, and I don't think any of the NHL owners could lift the Stanley Cup because that thing is huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, after Jeannie Buss said, "Well, go on, guys, lift the trophy," J.R. Smith came around the other side and handed it to Rondo. And I was just like, "What is happening?"
the biggest
This is the weirdest.
the biggest YOLO guy went in there when fuck it, no one else is taking it. I'll have a go, and then gave it to the Boston Celtics guy.
Yeah, right.
Congrats.
So JR two-time, passed it to JaVale three-time.
Three times, really?
Champion.
One away from Shaq.
I just go, how many with Warriors? The Warriors is two, right? All right.
Yeah.
One away from Shaq. Bloody hell. Okay, I give up.
Yeah, as dominant big man.
Yeah.
He went from the Warriors to the Lakers, just like Wilt Chamberlain did, and won a ring there later in his career, where he sacrificed a bit of his game.
It's just facts, Tom. It's just facts.
Oh.
I don't see the issue. Three-time.
He'll be
One
on the
away from
Knicks
Shaq.
next year. It's going on the Knicks next season. We're getting in.
No, you guys need to sign JaVale McGee, Patrick
Smith.
McCaw,
I want JR.
J.R. Smith, all of these role players that guarantee a chip.
Yeah.
Danny Green.
Danny Green.
So yeah, JaVale McGee sacrificed, hasn't played since the second round. But big part of the locker room. If you ask any Laker who the funniest guy in the locker room is, they all say JaVale. And I think that is a really important part of any team, to have someone who is hilarious and can always lighten the mood and keep people in good spirits, especially in the bubble environment, which is sounding more and more difficult by the day. The more you hear the players talk about it, the more you hear the media talk about being in there. Referees, like everyone that's in there says that it's just a very weird experience, and an even weirder experience coming out of there. And I'm sure he did a lot to contribute to them being able to stay together throughout the process. From one funny guy to another funny guy, your favorite comedian, guys, Dwight Howard.
Oh,
I was gonna say, like, that Dwight is trying to be the funniest guy on the team.
Yeah.
Real hard. The guy's so fucking weird, man. Like, I think that's what's really been exposed by these playoffs, is just how weird Dwight Howard is.
He's a strange dude.
Did you guys notice the last basket in the bubble was made by Dwight?
What kind of bucket was it?
Fucking 3 from the logo. On the fucking logo.
You know, 3D played for Orlando Magic, right?
Yeah.
He's the sequel, 3D.
3D. That's how 2020 is, right? Just it's gonna happen. So
yeah,
well, it's his third 3 of the season, which is 2 more than Ben Simmons.
He was taking some at once, though, right?
No, he had to. It was like no one's getting open late in the shot clock. He'd be looking for a pass. There's no one there. Splash.
He was
might be
practicing
3 for 3. I don't know.
He was practicing last summer to shoot threes. There's a bunch of videos that came out of him shooting threes.
He's always done that. Not always, sorry. He did that after the Olympics. Oh, wait.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, wait.
It was Kobe.
2012.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Hold on.
2012.
No. It was 08. It was 08.
Really?
Yeah. Because, it was 08 because Kobe gave him some advice, basically. And he started shooting 1,000 shots a day. Kobe shot 1,000 shots a day. and he started shooting 1,000 shots a day as well. And then a couple of years later, he finished second in MVP voting. He was robbed.
Sure.
He was robbed.
Sure.
They had the best record in the league.
Sure.
Derek Rose.
Yeah.
Derek.
Yeah, whatever.
They knew back then. But that is, it's really massive for JaVale and Dwight. I think they've probably done the most to repair their reputation.
Yeah,
I think JaVale was probably already a little bit further down that line anyway.
Yeah.
But Dwight, like, they were talking about Dwight not coming back to basketball before he went to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's playing a lot of minutes in the finals and doing a good job and not being a burden is really big.
Well, that's the thing with discussing at the start of the season. I think, Dave, if you remember, it was his contract, which was a bit different.
It was non-guaranteed. Yeah, it was a non-guaranteed contract. He said that he wanted it that way. He said, "Don't give me any guaranteed money. I want to earn it, and I want to prove to you that I'm serious about fitting into a role, which people didn't think he could do, and then also like staying healthy and stuff like that. He hadn't as much as he. I think at Houston he played a fair amount, but after that, his ability to stay on the court had been questioned a lot, and that was a big part of his deterioration. But so was him pushing to still be treated like a superstar, to ask for touches in the post and making demands that his reputation deserved, but that his play didn't necessarily deserve.
Exactly.
And he said, "No, I'm doing away with all of that. No ego, no nothing. I'm going to come in, do work, and do exactly as I'm told."
Well, he did what he had to do to get a championship. I think that's that he realized it's like, look, it's probably his last chance now, and it was what team is the best situation to win it, and he went, well, where's LeBron? I'm gonna go there and try and get it.
And I mean, that is the thing. Like, if you're not gonna do it on a LeBron team where they have another dominant big man as well, then he's probably never gonna do it. Let's be honest. So I'd written him off after the Rockets because I just thought that it really wasn't working. He really wasn't sort of maturing and adapting to sort of today's game. So I've got nothing but props. He was really quite effective at times.
Came up big in the Nuggets series in particular, starting some games that helped to tip that series the Lakers' way. And even during the season, like once he got to the Lakers and started to show that he wasn't going to demand touches and things like that, there were even times in the finals where he would have a steal, and I was thinking, just give it to him. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And he didn't complain. He didn't throw his arms up. There was no sulking, no nothing. And even before coming into the bubble, like, he started saying a few things that started to rub the fans the wrong way and things like that, regarding his views on science. And a part of me was also like, is he gonna regress now that he's had time away from basketball, time away from the team? Is he gonna go into the bubble situation and regress some? But it turns out that actually part of his the word is completely flown out of my head. Part of the reason he didn't want to come into the bubble was one of the mothers of one of his children died. She died during lockdown. So he had to make this decision about finishing the mission or staying and, supporting and being there for his family. And he chose to come into the bubble and get this done. And I'm not sure the Lakers could have done it without him. They were already without Avery Bradley, and it was just a huge sacrifice. Everyone made a huge sacrifice, but that sacrifice with that situation is incredible. So more power to him for that. one of his last tweets as a Laker before he left in free agency was something along the lines of "It's been real, Laker Nation. I hope I get the chance to make it up to you," which is a weird thing to say when you're leaving a team in free agency, but
Yeah.
he ended up coming back, and yeah, he did.
Is he a surefire Hall of Famer now?
I think he already was.
Yeah.
This ring
Yeah,
doesn't do
it's-
anything
it's-
to push his Hall of Fame case. He was a Hall of Famer. It's a no. He's first ballot. It's not even
Yeah.
up for debate.
I think any doubts are sort of completely erased by him having a ring. Yeah, it's not common. There's so many people in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. Like this is a guy that dominated the league for years. 3-time
Yeah.
defensive champion, been to the finals. Like it's not a debate, and it's not like he was a one-way player either. He played offense. He got buckets. He was an
They fly.
MVP caliber player in his prime. It's not up for debate. We move on to Quinn Cook. He has his second ring, I think. I think he only got one at the Warriors. He's another guy who is like the ultimate locker room glue guy. I feel like
He's
hear
literally
from...
glued to the locker room right now. Still there.
He's still there, man. Just pouring champagne on his eyes. I feel like he's the best friend of every star in the league that he plays with. Like I think Kevin Durant said he was his best friend in the Warriors locker room. He's come here and they love him here as well. And he's one of the dudes that seemed to be the most hit by the death of Kobe. I don't know if he's an LA dude. I don't know if he's from LA. But
I think he may be, because I think he's met Kobe as a child, right?
Yeah,
that's how he.
But he was one of the few players that actually went out to outside Staples Center and was just with the fans in tears as they laid down their flowers and their jerseys and their basketballs and everything. He's from DC.
Yeah, he's from DC. Quite not.
But for him to be at the franchise of his hero, and to win a championship with them in the year of his death, I'm sure meant a huge amount to Quinn Cook.
He's a good little player as well. I think from what I've seen on the Warriors, his Warriors days was solid, you know. So it's at least he contributed some ways. Off the bench. I like him as well. I think it's always one guy on 2K that when I start my franchise, I sort of get him.
Pick him first, right?
Bench. No, yeah, franchise player. But no, I always get him. Trying to get him for my bench. Get him in there, part of my 3-point guards system. Yeah. I like him.
And then he's another, as I said, big locker room guy. And I move on to another big locker room guy, Jared Dudley, who is just the locker room guy. He's a guy that will go in and get you fouls if there's. So it's so weird that he's simultaneously like one of the most gentlemanly basketball players, but will also go in and be an enforcer in situations or a bodyguard. Like that is a weird juxtaposition.
It's weird 'cause his body type doesn't really fit with.
It says brawler, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The new style jerseys are not kind to that.
The form fitting.
Yeah.
He's not a sultan of slim fit.
I think it's the headband as well. The headband doesn't really suit him. They're still wearing it. I don't know why.
He's old school. I think that's exactly it. Like he's a respectful guy, but he plays hard. It's somebody you would rather not play against, essentially.
Yeah.
So the Lakers picking him up so they don't have to deal with that. Smart move.
But you know where he reminds me of those guys when you play pickup games you know that like this 55-year-old dude that no one's picking, and then suddenly like he'll start bodying everyone and talking shit, and then he'll score buckets on you. Yes, those exactly.
Yeah.
And start making buckets, and you'd be like, where's that guy coming from?
Yeah, and I love a wide boy that hits threes, man. I love that shit. He's not a post demon. Nah. I'm gonna stand out here with my big body. Hoist these threes, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a great vet also to have around, guys like Kuzma. And yeah, he'll do the job whatever role he's asked to do. He was starting in the playoffs a year ago for the Nets.
For the Nets, yeah.
And then he came to the Lakers and has barely played. And I'm sure he doesn't mind one bit. Like, he's here to do his job and be a vet. And now he's got a championship. Yeah, now he's got a championship to validate his career, and he's had a good career, man. He's had a good career. I hope he goes into media once all is said and done as well. I like him on the mic. Then we come to the man, the myth. 2 M's, 1 C. Markieff Morris.
Markieff, yeah, he was doing real well, wasn't he?
Until that moment.
To be fair to him, we do have to talk about the great side of it as well, because in game, what was the other game we lost? Game 3. When the Lakers lost, he was hitting his shots. Kuzma was hitting his shots. And he played big, tried his best defending Jimmy Butler, but Butler was overwhelming. And he's come up big in a few series. Michael.
Thank you.
Yeah, particularly in Houston when the Lakers went small and only had 4 players over 6'9" on the court at the same time. What was that ghost?
I had no idea. I didn't see it. I just saw it.
Oh, it's Kobe. Oh, what's up, Kobe? You coming over? What are you doing in South?
That Wrong was house, mad. Kobe. I'm glad you all saw that, because I was like, what is happening?
Oh, man.
Anyway.
Yeah, so Keith played a great role. We had the chance to get Marcus Morris. He chose the Clippers. We got Keith, and only one of them has a ring, baby. Only one.
And it's it's funny that the kind of the two brothers went 2 very different ways during those playoffs. Like, what was the Clippers one? Marcus. Like, to me, the only memory I've got from Marcus is just him trying to kill Doncic and then getting killed by.
Stay away from my man.
Don't touch him. Do not touch. Leave his ankles alone. Dickhead. But then I don't really remember anything that he's done throughout the playoffs. But then Markieff he like you said, he came out big. I remember watching game 3, and I was like, he actually played very well in that series against the Rockets. Was pretty interesting. It's the type of player that you wouldn't really necessarily expect to contribute much, but then when they do, that's when your team is practically unbeatable.
Yeah,
because of those role players that contribute in like he's his actual strongest point. Is he a scorer? Is he? Because I've not seen that many games.
He's a stretch 4 who he played at the 5 somewhat, so he can shoot the 3. And then on defense, he just provides some toughness and some strength.
I think that's why you don't really notice him a lot, because he's just quite like good at a lot of different things. He's a good person to have out there, because he doesn't really have an outstanding weakness that you can exploit. So especially when it's the finals and you're going to 7 and you've got up against a coach like Spo, it's good to have those solid sort of players around.
For sure.
Apart from maybe it's the occasional last second pass.
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
not
fine.
passes out of the high post in the clutch, you know. But yeah, champion. And then we have Kyle Kuzma, who's sort of turned into a similar type of player. He's stepped up on defense a lot. There was a few possessions during these finals where I was like, man, he is defending his butt off, like really containing players, switching on to Duncan Robinson and not letting him like blow past him after a closeout. He really stepped up, and he stepped up and stepped down at the same time, because there was a lot of talk of him being the third star on the team, something that was kind of impossible just with LeBron and AD all being him as well, all basically being four players, being power forwards, I mean. But he learned to guard on the perimeter. He struggled with it last year a lot. He learned to guard on the perimeter. He learned to, try and defend the post. Some matchups he couldn't obviously deal with just because he's not the biggest of dudes. And then on offense, he reduced himself to a catch and shoot player. Occasionally he'd get out in transition. He's a really good cutter as well. Yep. But he just played a role and there was no point where he was like, I should be the third star on this team. In the beginning, he had that expectation of himself, but when it didn't happen, he didn't ever seem to get out of pocket. And I think that's really commendable.
Yeah, with the other players that are on that team, like exactly. if he even started to try and make those sort of noises, he would be shut down so quickly.
So you mean when he has Dion Waiters on his left and J.R. Smith on his right, and he's like,
all right, you guys,
I should be taking the last shot. J.R. Smith's like, what? Shot? You ain't getting no last shot.
I'm gonna take it over there, dribble around for a bit.
Yeah, but again, the way he was treated online I thought was, again, I was like, well, it's most of the people talking trash. They don't really watch or understand what's going on. It's like, you don't. That's why I don't really understand the whole like third leg. No, I'm kidding. Third leg in the tripod. That's what I meant.
Yeah, for sure. Goofball.
Like, you don't need a third option out there when you've got Davis and LeBron. I mean, come on, right. It's like it's not yours. You're not going to see the ball that much anyway. But what he did well. I thought, he didn't force anything. Maybe he took a bit of time to understand what his new role was. But again, that's his first NBA Finals. Like, the guy's super young as well, and he's learning. Like, I didn't expect much from Kuzma, to be honest. But what I've seen and what I've seen him do was fairly good and useful to the team. So I thought people were coming down on him like way too hard. It was too harsh, those criticism, I thought. And what's his average? Like over 10 points a game, I think it was something about 11, 12 points, I think it was.
Maybe overall, but around the 10-point mark.
So, and it's not forced anything, I thought. And he made like a lot of efforts on defense, like you said.
Yeah, he's a grinder as well. Like he got to where he is. Like, he wasn't a high pick or anything like that. No. And he got to where he is by working his arse off, and studying the game and learning whenever he can from whoever he can. So I think he's only going to get better. And yeah, I think he's a humble guy from what I've seen of him from interviews and things like that. He's a humble guy, so I think he will take what he can from LeBron and those guys and learn as much as possible. It's mad that he's the one that's left behind from last year's Lakers team. Right?
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, part of that is because of his mentality and what they saw in him. But I mean, calling him humble when he's the only player in the bubble to say, I don't care if I was being guarded by Jesus, I would shoot it.
Okay, I forgot about that.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Jesus could move
What a
his feet.
quote. What a quote, man. What a quote.
Whether he was playing, he could play on water, he could play on concrete, he could play anywhere. That Jesus guy, man.
Yeah,
That guy
probably get
that,
crossed because of those shitty shoes he was wearing.
that guy could really attack a closeout.
Yep.
That cave couldn't hold him, man. The cave couldn't hold him.
Nailed it.
Whoa.
Cheers.
He's here all night, guys. All right. Let's we're getting up there. We're getting up there.
It's water, it's not vodka, by the way.
You're not celebrating our championship. How dare you?
No, I cannot. Buy low. I can't.
Next up, second championship, first guy to have a ring with both the Celtics and the Lakers. And ironically, he got them both number 17.
Yep.
He should have won 17.
Yep.
Rajon Rondo came up huge in game 6. Absolute masterful performance. 19 points. Just blowing by Jimmy Butler, getting to the rim. I think he hit his first 5 shots or something like that. And they were pretty much all layups except for 1-3 when they backed off him. He was excellent in the closeout game. It was a huge reason why the Lakers were up big like they were. And he has just stepped up so big in the playoffs. Like, he's another one that throughout the season, the fans were like, oh, he's terrible. Why do we still have him on the team? He should have gone with Luke Walton, yada, yada, yada. And then in the playoffs, he turned into playoff R. Playoff Ara. And yeah, he's been excellent. At times, he's been the Lakers' third best player. And yeah, man, what's to say? The guy's just a genius on the court.
I like Rondo. I always like Rondo. He's the Marmite of the NBA world. I think it's either people love him or hate him. There's no middle ground with him. But he's like, you can't deny that he's a great basketball player, and he's a brain. I mean, we say that often from point guards, and like, oh, he'll be a great coach, but I don't know about that. But I hope he's got some sort of after career plan in basketball. You know what that role would be, I don't know, but yeah, he's somebody, again, like you said, for can't remember who you said that for, but it's somebody you want to have on your team rather against Dudley, because he's Dudley. You know, he can have a game where he's not there at all, you know, like not engaged at all, but he's got 2 titles now, you know, and he's just a walking brain, basketball encyclopedia. So that's why I like him. He knows what his strengths are. So yeah, I love Rondo. I wish he was on another team.
Yeah, I mean, he's adapted as well. Like, he hit his fair share of threes, which he didn't have when he was playing for Boston. Yeah, what can you say?
Yeah, he was up over 50% at one point. And then, I think it was really in the... well, he missed a lot of the Portland series, but in the Rocket series, he really came alive, making big plays on Harden. I think he stripped him a few times and got runouts out of it. And he made a few plays like that in this series as well, where he would like strip the inbounder and things like that. He's just a smart player, man. Smart guy. And he was someone that LeBron respected because he's played against him as a competitor. Some of those series against the Celtics that LeBron played earlier in his career, when he couldn't get past them, a lot of the time it was Rondo that was the one that was stepping up for the Celtics and putting in these performances against LeBron or against Wade and LeBron. And then he played with Anthony Davis in New Orleans. The only time he made it to the second round with that team, Rondo was right there with him. And their relationship, their chemistry, off the court and on the court, was there for everyone to see. So he was another person that could sort of hold them both accountable as someone that was respected in that locker room, was an NBA champion. And you mentioned the coaching, Tom. I don't know if he did it this time, but I know when Luke Walton was the coach,
Yes.
he was allowed to go into coaches' meetings. So he's definitely building up that side of his resume, I guess they would say. So I hope when he's ready to hang it up that he does go into coaching, because I think he'll be brilliant.
I think in terms of reputation, he's kind of similar to Jimmy Butler in a way that you have to get him into the right situation to get the best out of him. You know, like the Dallas episode,
Yeah,
when he completely these famous videos on YouTube where it's just him giving up on the team, like, you know, just turning the ball over on purpose. But again, he's one of those guys that if you can create that situation around him, and he's got players that that respect him, and he in turn respects, and like he's somebody that's, I guess, is brilliant to have on your team.
And it was him who called LeBron out on his body language last season. So a lot of the groundwork was laid last season in LeBron's first season at the Lakers, and Rondo said to him in a team meeting, like, you can't throw your hands up or like react to every bad decision or like a mistake that the young players make, because it crushes them. It crushes their confidence, and then they can't just brush it off and get on with their game.
They freeze. The next time that situation comes along, they freeze.
Yeah. And he was the one to step up and just tell LeBron what it is and how he needs to change. And LeBron welcomed that. He knows he needs people to challenge him and hold him accountable. So that was useful for that. Danny Green, what more can be said? Back-to-back championships with two different teams, first time ever.
Hey, I know. What is it? Is it his third or fourth championship?
It's his third on three different teams, also.
Third on fourth.
There you go. Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah.
So, you know, hey, death threats.
Yeah.
Get them out there.
Now he's living for real. He was a team high in the plus minus. In fact, he led all players in plus minus in game 6. I think his plus minus might have been the highest in game 5 as well. Despite the death threats. But a great 3-and-D guy who just came in, was the perfect complementary player. You talk about Markieff Morris just fitting in and not having weaknesses. Danny Green played very similar. The shot came and went, but you know he's reliable on defense. He can guard guards, he can guard forwards, run the floor, and make the correct decisions. And that's all you really want from a role player. So I'm glad he got another championship.
He is the guy that I think of when you say 3-and-D. He is the person that I think of as the first example of that, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Solid is the word.
Okay. Thought about that for a while.
That's my analysis of Danny Green.
Sure, it's just water in that flask.
No, I wish it was beer, but
in the beginning, we're getting essays. By the end, solid. What do you think is Anthony Davis's greatest trait, Tom? D. Get one letter out of him. Next up, Caruso.
W.
Alex Caruso in the starting lineup for the final game.
Proper name, the Bald Eagle, please.
The Bald Eagle. Headband gang. That was a JaVale idea. Cut it all off eventually, threw on the headband, and a legend was reborn.
Good decision.
Yeah, like his story is crazy, going from being in the G League to starting in Game 6 of the NBA Finals and playing an excellent game. He's become somewhat of a meme character a positive meme character on the internet, but because he's a bald white guy that can dunk. But
really
he does,
well.
but he does so much more than that for the team. His IQ is quite high. He's been great in the pick and roll. He stepped up when Rondo was injured in the playoffs, took on ball handling responsibilities, which is not a strength of his, but he made it work. I still have like visions in my mind of him running the pick and roll with AD to close out the Trailblazers. And he did some of the same stuff with LeBron in Game 6. And he just makes winning plays. Like he'll always get his hand on the ball, deflections, and then streaking out and getting some highlight assists. He's one of LeBron's favorite teammates. He loves being on the floor at the same time as him. And so congrats to him. Tom?
I mean, that's it. Like, go on, Tom. Take it away.
You got in your bag.
Ounce. No, he's great. It's like you know what? It's like it's every white dude, unskilled white dude who loves basketball wet dream. Like he's like, you see him, he's got no style. It is not vodka, straight up water. Look, you're asking me to talk about the Lakers. I'm making an effort, okay?
Next week, the Rockets.
No.
Mike?
Yeah, it's another case of like, if you don't fuck up, then you're gonna do well in the playoffs as a role player. And if you can get LeBron on your side, you're doing something right.
You're fine,
and you're probably made until he retires.
Mm.
I was gonna say, is Jerome James still on this team? Did he play? We haven't got to him yet. I was just wondering when
Jerome James.
He's always, oh my gosh, that's so funny. He's always on those teams, man. Oh my gosh.
But so he's the new Jerome James for me.
Well, he's playing now at least. But yeah, I'm sure when Bronny Jr. wins his first ring, he'll be like, yeah, Uncle Caruso's been our rock as the 12th man. Even though he's lost all of his hair, and they're like, you never had hair.
You got to pull for these guys, because it does just seem like, they're trying to play it in the right way, and they're willing to learn, and they're progressing and stuff like that. They don't have huge egos. So it's apart from the fact that they play for the Lakers, it's hard not to like.
Solid.
Hey man, hate's gonna hate. So yeah. That moves us on to the best name in basketball. The best name in the world? Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Kentavious.
Surprising.
Thank you, Tom.
Getting in there early.
At times, he's been the Lakers' third best player, especially if you look at it just from a scoring standpoint. He had 17 in the closeout game. He's been in double digits in a lot of these finals games, and throughout the playoffs, he's been the most consistent shooter out of the role players. And yeah, it's just crazy to think, like, it kind of hit me that this is his first time out of the first round, and he's gone all the way to the finals and won a chip as a starter on the Lakers team. And he's been memed. I'm sure you'll remember the start of the season, Tom, when you and Io were cackling over the Kentavious Caldwell Pope holding the 0 Wilt Chamberlain meme.
But
after the Clippers beat the Lakers on opening night.
But
here we are.
That's exactly why I said surprising, because I had no expectations or very low expectation of KCP going in. And he surprised me in the finals. I was like, damn, where's that coming? Where's that coming from? I guess
Reaping on him.
he stepped up when he was most needed most. So
Which
Fucking
is not
possum.
the first
good on
day
him.
of the season.
And and I know, I know. I keep there's a lot of again ranting about social media today, but there's a lot of people like again they're like after game 1 or 2 and they're already burning everything down to the ground, and you're like, dude, it's not now you have to be ready. It's in May, towards May, that's when you gotta be
May,
firing.
June, July, August,
May, June,
September,
July.
October,
Aye.
maybe.
Yeah, all year round. But no, it's no point. But good on him. He's put the ball in the basket when he needed.
Yeah, and like people talk about his clutch ties, that he's only on the team because he's on clutch and stuff like that. And no, actually he's on the team because he plays defense and he knocks down shots. And he's another guy who you can put into that perfect 3-and-D mold. We like to think of it more as wing players, but he's definitely a more of a guard defender, and he does a great job of it. Like he was excellent on closeouts, excellent on switches, excellent chasing Robinson around the court. He's another role player who the Lakers just would not have won if they didn't have.
Mhm.
It just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting because you're going back to the start of the season and when you were putting this team together and you're looking at KCP, Rondo, J.R. Smith, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and it was like they're making a circus. They're making. We were talking about it. It's like it's they're making this for Space Jam or something like that, right? Like this should not have worked. All of the evidence leading up to this season suggested that there would be one of these players that would cause some sort of ruption or something like that, or just wouldn't be up to it. And they've all done extremely well.
And that it's just funny, which is completely opposite of what everyone thought from the Clippers, for example, right?
Exactly.
When you look at the other roster, you're like, shit, this is gonna work. This is built well enough. They've got some extremely good players. Okay, shut up.
It is. It is. It's very much like it's getting those veteran guys that have done it before, and trusting that they will pull it out when they need to pull it out.
But you know what? That's what she said. But it's funny because I was looking at again. I'm gonna name drop 2K, right? And NBA 2K is like the way they build the roster, the Lakers, it feels like the way I would do it. It's like, oh, that guy had a bunch of good seasons. He was hot like 5 years ago. I'm gonna get him.
Or he has an 80 for 3-pointers, so he'll do.
Yeah, it's like it's A+ 3 shooting. The rest is F.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? You got LeBron,
Yeah, yeah. The only
else.
sad thing for me before we move on to the superstars is that we didn't get our boy Lance Stevenson a ring.
Damn right.
I forgot that he was part of it as well.
Lance.
Yes.
Is he still banned?
Banned? From where? From America. You're blowing the wrong person's ear.
No, I'm kidding. It's that would have been funny though. Him and J.R. Smith on the bench.
Yeah, man. Lance and make him. Hey. It would have been great. And he doesn't have a ring still. Sad times.
Is it sad times?
Yes. In a world where Dion Waiters and all these guys have gotten rings and been able to shake off their reputation, I want Lance to do the same.
Well, Lance is in China, right? Yeah. Has he won a title there? Maybe he's got a ring.
Maybe he's got 2 rings.
He's got MVP.
There you go.
Of the
best to do it.
Terrific 12, whatever that is. Oh, it's the name of the league. East
World
Asia Super
Champions.
League Terrific 12. Cool.
I'm not sad.
So it's like
EP.
their Champions League tournament.
Fucking
Terrific
awesome.
12. Yeah, sure.
Terrific 12.
Next up, AD. Don't call me Anthony. The Brow.
Mm-mm.
He was all right, wasn't he?
Yes, he was safe.
Man.
Safe.
Solid.
Safe is the word. Defensively, he was like a safe. He was locking up.
That's all right.
He wasn't letting anyone get anything in that first half of game 6. Similarly dominant performance in game 4. And then games 1 and 2 on the offensive end, he went absolutely nuts. And he's just a special player. I really can't say enough about how he just turned up every night and was a lot of the times maybe not the Lakers' most valuable or most important player, who most of the time was LeBron, but he on a lot of nights he was the best player, right? He would put the ball in the hoop and guard on the other end and, you know, blow up things, or he was the mismatch in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Like this was the only game in the series where the Lakers played AD at center, and you look at what it did to the Heat in this game. They went to AD at center lineup against the Rockets, and it destroyed the series. They did the same thing against Jokic and just give them real trouble. And yeah, in so many situations, you look at the game winner in the Nugget series. He's just a great player, super duper versatile, and can do everything on the floor. A few of these games, he's had 3 or 4 assists as well, which is something he added to his game in his last full season at the Pelicans. He's amazing, man. He's amazing, and LeBron has found him to be just as valuable off the court as a friend as he has on the court.
Yeah.
What else can you add? I mean, I was listening to another podcast when they were discussing whether or not he was the best, LeBron's best teammate over Dwayne Wade and who else was in there?
Kyrie.
Oh, Kyrie.
Zadrina Silgauskas.
Yeah, see, hey, put some respect on his name. But, yeah, I don't know. I think to me, out of all of the teammates or the superstar they played with, I think he's the one with the highest ceiling and probably the most gifted. I don't know. Dwayne Wade is up there too. It's very close. It's pretty good, right? It's something. So I don't know, but somehow when I think Anthony Davis, I'm slightly more scared. If I was on the other team, I'd be more scared than playing Dwayne Wade. But again, saying that, it feels like I'm talking shit about Dwayne Wade, but I'm not. It's like
there's more skill. There's more overlap between LeBron and Wade. So you know that for them to both be great, there's one of them's going to have to sacrifice something for them both to be great.
Exactly.
Whereas with LeBron and AD, they can both give you the business.
They complement each other so well. You know, yes. It's just incredible. So
I think the other thing for me is that Wade is a leader. He's a leader of people. Basically, that was always going to be it was always going to be hard to sort of juggle that, and you could see that. Well, he'd already done it. He was good enough to take a team to the finals himself, albeit the East,
and win the championship.
Whereas AD hasn't done that, and maybe it's the age thing as well as everything else, but it was very clear.
Injuries.
LeBron is the leader of that team, and injuries. Yeah, fair enough. But it was very clear that he would be taking that sort of one. I hate the 1B. No, it's a second spot. Like if you can classify it as 1A and 1B, it's 1 and 2. So he was in that spot, and it's good that they were able to just have that, and it was good that he was also able to kind of accept this center role, even though, again, that sort of
He's a center.
assignment is
Yeah.
not really as valid as what it used to be. Maybe like you're still going to be outside the 3-point line, bombing
Whenever
away
you
when
want to
you
be.
can.
Yeah.
So, he's one of the most skilled, like all around skilled wise. He's one of the most complete basketballers we've seen, I would say.
Like, what's his weakness? Apart from maybe picking up injuries, not so much this season, but like historically.
The only thing that maybe you would want is for him to be able to create for himself a bit better. That's the only thing.
Sure.
I don't think he has that sort of. Well, again, maybe it's the size and everything like that, but I don't think he has that killer instinct. He's not Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean? Like, it's he's done it with the Pelicans and stuff like that, but it's not gotten them that far. So he's still, for me, and maybe this is unfair. For me, he's still got a little bit to prove to be like, I am that guy, basically.
I don't think his personality and the way he plays. I don't think he'll be a killer ever. I think he's
exactly. Yeah.
He's a great number 2, 1B guy to have on your team. You know, it's like, but I don't think
scoring this season.
Yeah, exactly. But he's in terms. I think it's more in terms of personality and body language on the court. You know what I mean? Or that he's not somebody. I don't know. I don't feel him.
Leadership.
I don't. Yeah, I think maybe that might be a weakness if you really want to be picky with it. I guess if you want to point out something that is not.
I don't think it's a weakness as long as it's accepted and understood, and you can. People around him that are sort of required. Like if you've got a Rondo or somebody like that can take on that role, it just happens to be probably the greatest player of this generation. LeBron that's next to him. It's kind of an easy one to solve. Yeah.
I quite would like to see, because he's only 27, right? AD.
Yeah. I think
still quite fairly young.
27.
I like to see him post LeBron. On what team I don't know, but like I like to see him with another star. See
what team?
Okay, he's gonna probably it's very likely to extend his stay with the Lakers. There are other destinations he could go to, on the East Coast, but he looks good in blue. I don't know. He look good in blue, but I don't know. Like, I would like to see him. I like to see him with another star, another big name, to see how someone else than LeBron, see if he can repeat that, getting a title and being as good as he's been this season.
I think if you take him and put him with any of the great guard players or great wing players, they'd be up there. They'd be contending. Like he's pretty much only ever been, as far as like as a superstar, he's had good teammates, but as a superstar, he's only ever been alone. And you just can't win in that situation. Like LeBron said after they won the chip, he said, I know what it's like to stay somewhere for 7 years and not be able to get over the hump. Like I did that exact thing. And then I went and played with someone that challenged me in Dwayne Wade. And he's like, now I'm challenging him in the same way that Wade challenged me. And that's how you win a championship.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's it. That's very true. You need to be in the right situation.
Are you open to a trade with the Mavs? Like they've got another big guy who can shoot threes. No,
Doncic.
No. The other one. The other white dude. No.
Oh, Caruso.
Yes.
My bad.
So AD
I didn't know
for
you were going to say white dude.
Porzingis. Straight swap.
Caruso for Doncic.
Yeah, same value.
Hey man, old Mamba for future Mamba.
Get 80 on the Mavs. Boom.
No, man. Sorry, man. Sorry, man. He's in LA. AD on the way.
I'd say he's as close as to untouchable as you can get.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, if you could, if you put Kristaps Porzingis and Seth Curry, how can you say no?
How can you lose? That's what I said. Put him with a dominant guard and that. Greatest 3-point shooter of all time.
Anyway,
Sethy.
moving on.
And finally, we have LeBron James. What can be said that hasn't been said? I haven't got my sound effects. This is the king. He wants his respect, damn it. He was talking to you, Tom. Always saying that his game doesn't have any fundamentals. That he lacks skills.
I mean, he did say, and I heard him, he said they're going to create some new sort of criteria that I've not met to say he's not the GOAT. So yes.
So what is it, Tom?
I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys start on LeBron.
Yeah, I was reading an article about I think I was telling you, Tom. I was reading no, it wasn't you. I was reading an article about how from the perspective of the big men that he's played with, and they just talk about like how he's used them over the years. So starting out with Big Z, Satrinas Ilgauskas, and then moving on through like Boozer, who was there for a short period. And then, the Chris Boshes, the Kevin Loves.
How could you miss out?
Oh my gosh.
Please.
Put some respect on his name.
Brazilian Bounder.
Oh, yeah.
Varejao. Chris Bosh. And then moving on to like the ADs of the world, the Tristan Thompsons. And just how these players, who are all at least good players, if not much, much better, how he learned their tendencies and learned to use them in different ways to unlock parts of his game, and then also to get the best out of them. Obviously, Kevin Love had to limit his game somewhat to play with LeBron. Chris Bosh had to change his game to play with LeBron. But the rest of them, LeBron accommodated for. And it just spoke to his basketball mind, his basketball brain, his IQ. And I think more than
Kendrick
ever...
Perkins, has he learned from Kendrick?
Oh, yeah, KP. How could we forget? It speaks to how he just thinks the game, and we've seen more than ever in these playoffs him just be cerebral, him thinking the game as he's still crazy, insane athletic, but he relies on that so much less now than he used to. Sidebar, he was asked by one of the it wasn't Second Spectrum, but one of the Sports Center guys at ESPN, LeBron, 35-year-old LeBron versus 27-year-old LeBron, who wins? And he said 27 LeBron wouldn't have a chance. He has no idea about his game. He has no idea how to use his tools. He has no idea, what he can become.
Yep. And
he was 27 when he won his first ring. So it just goes to show how much he's grown, how much he's learned, how much he's evolved over the years. And just watching him in particularly game one of the Houston series, where he did so much surveying, so much slowing down of the ball, so much watching the way that they moved on defense. And the Rockets actually had the best defense in the playoffs at that point. And then boom, 4 wins came straight after that. Right. Some adjustments were made by coaching staff and everything. But yeah, just looking at what's going on, plotting and executing. And in that sense, no one does it better. Like he's just up there as a basketball mind. And I think after that game 5 with the Nuggets, it was just like, yeah, the Lakers are going to win a ring. And he is still the best player in the league. Like, he's still the best player in the world at 35. And it's like, it's there for us to see. He finished second in MVP voting. behind Giannis, but you know, there's all kinds of ways that we can frame that battle. We know that come playoff time, LeBron is a more effective player than Giannis, and I think, yeah,
Just a little bit.
it's like, us motherfuckers forgot, didn't we? Like Roy Jones.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about the guy, right? Like, as you said, it's the whole package. He's an athletic freak of nature. You should not be that tall, that strong, and that quick, and have the dexterity and whatever, like to be able to shoot the way that he does. It's insane. And then you combine in that with like genius level basketball IQ. Just like, okay, what do you do with that other than lose?
Yeah, and every year everybody is kind of writing him off a little bit. It's like, oh, surely now that's it. It's the end of his career. He's old. He's not going to do it again. But then he keeps doing it. I think I found something I don't like, and he's not the best. His shooting form. It's horrible. It's just, what the hell is that?
Sure. What do you have?
You know he's left-handed, right? You know he's left-handed, and he
Is
shoots
he?
with his right hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Just fucking trolling everyone, is he?
When he turns 38, he's going to switch to his actual dominance.
People, that'll be amazing. And then up his average to 75%. That was sweet. That's spending time with Michael Beasley. Boom. Left-handed wizards.
Yeah. There we go. Really?
Beasley's still on the roster? No, he's not. He's gone, is he?
He was there though.
He was there at some point
last season, I think, or the one before.
Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, last season. I think it was last season.
And that's where he got his tricks from. Michael Beasley taught LeBron.
Right. Fathered him.
What else can you say?
Oh man. But yeah, he's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's just insane to think that he took the Cavs from where they were to the finals in 2007. Took him a few years. He was new in the league, straight out of high school. He forms a super team, goes to Miami, wins a ring in his second season. Goes back to Cleveland, back to the finals again, having been to the finals, 3 straight times at that point? 3 straight. 4 straight finals with the Heat. Goes to Cleveland, back in the finals again, loses the first one, wins the second one, goes to 2 more finals after that. So he's just on this incredible streak, 8 in a row. And then joins the Lakers, who haven't been to the playoffs in 5 years. First season there, he gets injured and they miss the playoffs. Second season,
kick everybody off the team.
Yeah. Second season, wins a championship.
Yeah.
That's insane. I think it's even more insane that they changed so much of the roster.
Yeah.
And then just won. I think it's more insane.
No,
Yeah.
I know it's AD. Obviously, it's AD, and we've just spoken about how great AD is. So yeah, like that. Obviously, that gives you a chance. You have AD and LeBron, but like for it to gel so quick, for the chemistry to be so great, and then the conditions in the bubble, like.
And that's where the comparisons to the Clippers are so damning, because you can say, oh, they were a new team, they weren't gelling, so were the Lakers. Probably even more so, because they didn't have the central guys of like Lou Williams and Trez. So it's again, this should not have ended up like this. Like, you're looking at this at the start of the season, and all signs point to this not being the outcome.
So surely now, Mike, you should go back to your Sixers and say, fucking blow it up, right?
Blow it up.
Start over. Just keep one. keep one of
Go
the
on
two,
court,
blow it up,
right?
right? And then you'll win it.
The
And
start.
I think what's I found the most impressive thing I found about LeBron is that he's been expected to perform and being that great from the age of what, 14? Before that,
Yeah.
14, right?
Probably.
It's like, and it's like, how many players have you known that were kind of hyped up to death in college or high school or whatever, and just amounted to, like, they never got to anywhere, never got to anything. It's a lot of them. So he's a rarity in that sense, that he's, from the time the first cameras were on him, all eyes were on him, he pretty much crushed every hope and kind of expectations that the media and people around him had. So it's that, and the fact that he's been doing that. How old is he now? 30, 34?
5. It'll be
30.
30.
He's 21 still.
He was in the same draft as Pat Riley.
1965. Yeah. And
35. He'll be 36 in December.
Fucking hell. And then what's amazing is that the decision also, when he went to Miami and when he did that live show, and like, he backed it up. Like, he won a bunch of titles after that, and he managed to change.
Not 7, no. Not 7. The liar.
All right.
Let's not forget that.
In his defense,
Mm.
he said not 1, not 3,
2.
not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. And he didn't win 7. So
he was right. He was right. Yeah, but like, he's left, and then he came back to Cleveland and he won it there. I mean, like, if that just tells you how good he is. It's just like, if you can win a title with the Cavs, I mean, bloody hell.
yeah, franchise changing.
He's done all of this whilst being off the court, very active and genuinely a fucking great person.
Yeah.
What an arsehole. But the stuff that he's done with, like, schools in Akron, the stuff that he's done behind the Black Lives Matter movement, and sort of pushing the case with the league,
and the president.
Is huge. And the thing is, he gets so much flack from it, from shitty sort of news centers, or whatever you want to call them, for being a fucking good guy, and he continues to do it. You know, it's he could easily go off and make shoes and make his money quiet on all of these things and have a much easier time, and he decides not to, and that's a great thing to have in your superstar for the league.
For sure.
Yeah, it's where the difference between, because again, the whole GOAT stuff between him and Jordan, I'm not really interested. I'm more interested in trying to see how they differ in the way they behave on and off the court. I think that's quite interesting to see, you know, when they played, who was their opposition and stuff like that. But then also, like you said, off the court, it's quite interesting to see how they're very different. You know, when Michael Jordan was a lot about business and making cash and keeping to himself, because you don't apart from that part, except if you spend a lot of time studying Michael Jordan, like, you don't know what he stands for. You know, he's always kind of, if you watch The Last Dance, he's always shied away from anything political, anything that has, you know, that could be potentially damaging to your, like, he also about business and winning, right? It's like winning titles and making a lot of cash and trying to represent the brand.
The brand, yeah.
Which is it's fine too. Not everybody has to be like LeBron and being involved. You know, that's the way, and that's your personality. That's fine. But I think it's always nice when somebody like him, and like, you know, that's been a voice for a lot of injustice going on around the world. It's quite good, and like the fact that he's super well spoken and that he knows how to put his points across, like me right now. Like he's I think that's really good that we've got somebody who's the leader in terms of sports itself, but also in terms of social inequalities and
Yeah.
many more topics. So
That's
it's
an example.
yeah, so an example is like, and that's something I think, especially like going back to what I was saying, is like started having cameras on him from the age of 14. He could have gone the other way and being like this massive douchebag, he's just there to make his cash and play basketball. But he's decided to educate. I don't know, educate. No, it's not said that, but I've come out with strong opinions about what he believes in. I think that's great if you can have it.
Yeah. Great basketball player, even better person, man.
Yeah.
All right. So that concludes our finals. Lakers NBA championship. R.I.P. Kobe. R.I.P. Oh, what's the name? God damn it. GG. Number 2. How could I forget? R.I.P. GG. Episode 101. In the bag, fellas. Remember to like, share, subscribe, review, do all the good things for the podcast. Reviews on Apple only take a second. Just hit that 5 stars. Any constructive criticism, hit us up on social media at Grit and Grime Pod. So from me, David Sago, from Michael Downey.
Good night.
And from Thomas Arnold.
I don't want to talk about the Lakers ever again. Goodbye.
We're out of here. Yeah, exactly. Put some respect on it.
Enough.
Bow at Dion Waiters' feet. We're out of here.